The way your body was killing you, having your legs being numb and feeling like you needed to puke. Yen, Kai will be out today. She paused. Are you all right? Yona asked as she closed the door. I feel like I'm dying, you spoke. She came to your side. Lay upwards. She spoke, firm. You did as you were told. Looking at the ceiling, she placed her hand on your forehead. It's not hot. She thought for a moment. How are you feeling? She asked. Well, first, I feel like I'm dying. Second, I feel like I'm going to puke. And third, I'm hungry. You spoke. But you just ate, Yona sighed. Well, I'm hungry. You looked at her with a face. She placed her hand on your forehead. Yin, if you want, I can get the doctor, but I'm sure you're just getting the aftermath of being poisoned. She sighed, getting up and cleaning your area. Yona, please get the doctor. You felt dizzy, like you needed to puke. And, you did. Making sure you did not puke on the bed and ended up doing it on the floor, Yona ran to you, helping you up and going to get you something to puke in. Once she gave you an item to puke in, she ran to go get the doctor. I hope you learn from what you've done. Overhaul spoke to the man from a month ago, his bloody body on the floor. He stepped in front of the man's head, grabbing him by the hair. And this is what you get for poisoning my wife. Then throwing his head to the floor. Please, Chisaki, I apologize, the man cried. It's far too late for that. He spoke, stomping on his head. It'll be some time before you come back, he spoke, turning to see a girl who you sat by. My. That human must be very important for you to act this way, she giggled, smoke coming from her nose and mouth. The old lady will surely be pissed about her little boy. She tilted her head. The Tengu will be fine. It's not like he's done this before. He sighed, walking out of the room, with her following. Ichika, go home, he spoke, but she only giggled. But Guy, this is my house as well. We have the same name after all, she giggled. That was when the two saw Yona running to them. What is the problem? Why are you in a rush, girl? He asked. Yona huffed and puffed. Yin, she gasped. Sick. Doctor's with her. She gasped out once again. Kai's eyes shot open, speed walking past her. Yona, was it? Ichika asked. Yes, my lady, Yona bowed. Lady Yin, what are her symptoms? She asked Yona. Yona looked puzzled as to why she asked. If I may ask, why do you question? Yona asked, but the girl only giggled. Why? Because I might know. Ichika spoke. Well, she has been complaining about her body aching, puking, and feeling much hungrier. After Yona had done what Ichika asked, she began to laugh. Yona looked up in shock at the girl who was laughing like a madman. Well, Yona, your lady might be pregnant. She laughed. Yona looked in shock and worry. You would never want this. You told her stories of women being locked to a man by a baby, and now you're facing with it. I'm sorry, my lady, but I must leave. Yona bowed before scuttering away from the lady, but the lady only giggled. Good luck, my lady Yin. She then walked the other way. Are you sure? Kai asked as you looked down. Yes, I am sure the lady is pregnant. The doctor bowed, then leaving the room. You slightly looked up to see Kai's face. What you didn't expect was a small smile that was placed there. the way it trembled as he usually frowned. His eyes seemed to sparkle. It scared you. He got his way. That was when the door opened to see Chrono and the doctor. The doctor looked to be scared. Overhaul, you wanted him again? He spoke. The way the doctor looked up at Kai made your heart speed up. Kai walked over to him and grabbed his face. If you dare tell anyone, I will kill you. You couldn't see his face, but by the way the doctor was, you could tell it what it was. After you knew for sure, the doctor had fell to his feet and bowed low, mumbling over and over every word that he could make out. Kai, to make him feel happy. With the doctor now dismissed, but Kai and Chrono needed to talk. So, you stared off into space, the reality coming down on you. As the weight of one Kai becoming two, you so hoped that you could... No, you can't think of that, right? If you tried to do anything to your body, he would know. Like all the other times. Besides, you couldn't die. Only to his wish. You placed a hand on your belly. Please, don't be like him. You spoke. Yona came into the room sweating. It can't be true, she spoke. It is. You looked at her, about to cry. Oh, Yin. Her face fell and came to hug you, but stopped. You got up and walked over to Kai from out of the room. Can I walk for a bit? You tugged onto his sleeve like a little child. Yes, only with Yona. But be careful. The guests are here again. He sighed, which Yona nodded. Then both of you walked away. Did you hear? You heard someone say around the corner. No, what? The other said. I heard the young lady is coming. The other spoke. What? The other gasped. That's when they turned the corner to see you. They froze before bowing. Who is this young lady? You asked. The two looked at each other. The lady is the master's granddaughter. They trembled. What is her name? You asked. Her name is Arie, the man spoke. Thank you. You may get back to work. The two looked up to see her smile. You could see the blush on the two's faces as they got up and said their goodbyes before scampering away. Yona, do you have more word on this Arie girl? You asked as both of you walked. Not that I recall. She spoke as the two of you made it to the garden. That's time. I was here when I passed out. You paused and looked at Yona. Want to know why? You asked. It was because you were poisoned. Yona spoke, sighing. Yes, but do you know from what? You asked as you sat and played with a flower. Yona now looked at you, confused. The lady, I believe, her skin was a pinkish, her hair black. She carried a pipe. Yona still looked confused. Yona looked at the plant you had been playing with. It was a hydrangea. They are poisonous to humans, Yona spoke. But didn't Kai give you one? She spoke. Yes, but it was fake. You spoke, looking at the flower. Yet? Oh, the beautiful flower, yet dangerous. They have cyanide in them. Yona froze at this. Many in my world use them for warfares. You smiled at the beautiful plant, smelling the beautiful scent. Yin, you should be careful then. Yona spat, running to your side. Yona looked at you Oh, be careful. Do not touch the leaves. You spoke, then continued. They are the part that contains the cyanide in them. Yona looked at you dumbfounded. The once girl she saw as weak, stupid, and pathetic. Now a girl she'd grown to understand, had knowledge beyond her recognition. They are poisonous to eat or even smoke. So I think the lady I sat by caused me to become poison. You then giggled. That's so funny. Oh, what's so funny? You could have died. Yona yelled at you. It's just that they are all around my home, Japan, and no one thinks twice. Yona tried to think what you could be thinking. Now she knew what the master meant when he talked about you. Yin, you heard Kai's voice from behind the two of you. We're going out. That confused you. Going out? But the last time he said you couldn't go. Oh, you couldn't, for you would go mad. Remember, you're not human anymore. He spoke like he had just read your mind. Get her ready for the night. He looked at Yona, who had been bowing to him. Yes, sir. She spoke to him. He then left with the two of you going to the room. You wondered where he would be going with Kai. A bathhouse? No, too dirty for him. Definitely not a tea house or a brothel. Another shrine was out of the question. So, that begged the question. Once in the room, Yona had gotten you ready. Hey, Yona, why are you so good at these things? I mean, like putting a royalty like kimono on me, you spoke. Well, before the lady went away, I messed up. Well, there was a lady who before went away from the shrine. I took care of her. She was nice, but she always complained about her life. How she wanted to be free and away from the mess. She then looked down. I guess when she left you were demoted? You asked. Yes, she looked down. I'm sorry to hear that. You frowned. Hey, at least you have me. You tried to lighten the mood. Yeah, but you sacrificed your life for me. She frowned. Yona, I would do it for you, because you were the only person who actually cared for me. Yeah, it took some time, but at least you stayed with me. You turned to her, holding her face in your hands. Go to the kitchen and say I asked for mochi. Then go find a place and eat it. You whispered into her ear before giggling. She gasped. What if they find me? She teased. My lady, she has left me with the treats. You mimicked what she should say. All right, now get going before the master gets impatient. She walked with you out the room. You two walked to the entrance where Kai waited. You looked at him. His eyes looked to be, how should you put it, more content. Like a child getting everything they just asked for. You took his hand as you two walked through the garden. It was weird. It was weird. Why he wasn't in a carriage. The two of you just continued to walk as you realized there were lanterns on strings seemingly floating in the air. Was the festival going on? You could wonder what could it be. Kai, is there a festival going on? You asked him. He nodded his head. That means it might have been the Gatarusa Kichi, or the Harvest Moon Festival, meaning the moon for 3 days would be full and bright, was many good for farmers since they had the bright light to help them. You had seen so many types now, so much that you thought you had seen them all. But this took the cake. A 7 feet tall skeleton. Their kimonos seemingly looked to be floating on their body, and you saw them eat a candy stick. It just vanished. Like they actually ate it. But you swear they didn't. They didn't even have a skin. But you were pulled away by the smell of food. You ran to the food. Kai, please, you begged. Kai only sighed as he walked up to you. The man who had been running it stared at the two of you, mostly Kai. Could I have the fruit candy? You asked, still looking at the beautiful display in front of you. You can have it for free, miss. The man quickly spoke, and you turned to him. Really? You asked with stars in your eyes. Yes, matter of fact, have too. He spoke. Thank you, he spoke, walking back to Kai, sadly. The more you... Oh, well, happily sorry. As you took the candy, the more you explored, the more excited you got. But something came to mind. Hey, Kai, who is Arie? You asked. Where did you hear that name? Kai looked down at you with a deadly glare. Oh, I heard someone say she was coming back, you spoke, worriedly. Kai grabbed your face. That child's name is a disgrace to our name, he spoke. I'm sorry, you spoke, looking down. He had let go of your face. Just don't talk about her. Now, let's go back. It has gotten late. He spoke. The two of you walked through the city, that seemed to have less people now. Once at the shrine, Corona and a couple people stood awaiting even Yona. Overhaul, we must speak with you, Corona spoke. Alone. He then looked at you. Yona then took your hand. What's going on? You asked. I don't know. I was just told to take you back to Kai's room. You were also noticing something off. You had seen them gossiping, which was mostly normal, but some had been wearing a black obi belt. Yona? Who are they mourning for? You asked. Yona then looked at you. What do you mean? She asked. See, I don't know if it's just my world, but in the Eastern culture, for kimonos or anything like that, they wear a black obi belt for someone's death. Yona looked surprised. I didn't know yokai and onis could die. She then began to think. As you two got to the room, you walked into the room and began to get dressed in something more comfortable. Yona, go and listen to the gossip, you spoke. Yona looked at you confused. I want you to listen what they are saying. You looked out the window. I will then pile everything up, you spoke. She bowed and left the room. You wanted to get to the bottom of this. What happened when you were gone? Humans, yes, are curious creatures, but even with little information, they can figure out what has happened. But if humans get too curious, they could end up dying. But you're not human anymore. But your mind still is. So, is your thought process. You walked to your vanity and looked at yourself. You look the same, but was it truly you? Yes, of course it's you. Yin, you heard Yona speak. Yes, you asked. I only got a little sense of my higher position, she paused. I believe the master has died, or is now reborn, she spoke. So, once Onis die, they become human again? You looked at her. Yes, I do believe so, she spoke. So that means I am now the lady of this house, and Kai is... You looked back at yourself and put your hand over your face. Yes, it seems. So be prepared to be in any more meetings and special events. That means you won't be able to leave so easily like the dinner party. She spoke. Also, there was some news about the young lady. That was where your ears perked up. Before you speak, let me tell you what I have learned. You spoke. Now Yona's ears began to perk up. When I asked her, Kai, he only said, the child's name is a disgrace to our name. Do you know what that could mean? You asked. I don't know. I don't even know what she looks like. The problem is that she's not allowed out of her room. Yona spoke. Take me to her then. You couldn't see her eyes. Oh, you couldn't see her eyes, but they went wide, then back to their normal self. Yes, let's go. This place. I don't even know where I am. I knew of this place thanks to my mother, telling me stories. But now she's gone. And every time I try to leave the door, I get shocked. Food would come, but no one would ever talk to me. I wonder when I'll be back with Papa. I wonder what those lights are for. Young lady, may I come in? Said a lady. Her voice sounded like Mama's. I didn't say anything because I don't know who she was. The door then opened. I'm sorry to come in unannounced. She spoke, walking in with another lady. The one who opened the door had black buns. Her clothes were a white kimono with a purple skirt. She had 2 sets of eyes. The other lady, though, looked normal. Her hair wasn't tied up and let loose. Her kimono looked 10 times more elegant than the other lady, even if it was just a nightgown. But she looked to be from where I was born. You must be the young Lady Arie, am I right? She asked, her smile not wavering. How are you? Oh, who are you? I asked. I am Lady Yin, the new lady of this house. So, this was the girl many have talked about. She was so pretty. Her hair looked smooth, like she hadn't touched anything in her life. I wish to know more about you. I have only been told you have returned, but nothing more. The lady spoke. I'm not from here, I spoke. I don't know why, but I felt warm around her, like my cheeks were heating up. What do you mean? She asked. Everyone looks like you, I spoke. Her face looked confused. She then turned to the other one. She was whispering something to her. Are you from another shrine? She turned to me once more. No, I spoke. My lady, we should leave. The other one spoke. My then. Arie, would you like to be my little pen pal? She asked, coming closer to me. And to remember me, have this. She smiled, holding my hand. Once she let go, I looked at my hand, which held candy. I do hope you enjoy. She smiled before leaving the room. She was so cute, wasn't she? You asked Yona. Yes, certainly, she giggled. I can't wait to see her again. You spoke. Yin, what are you talking about? You heard Kai from in front of you. About a butterfly. You spoke, smiling. Yin, I would like to have a word with you. He spoke. If you want to talk about the master, I already know. You are the new master. You spoke. News travels fast, then. He spoke. Now, let's get going. You and me have something to do. Yona bowed, leaving, as you walked to his side. What are we doing? You asked. A bath together. What?